Good morning, writers. It's a beautiful day for writing today while I'm making this video at my house. It's raining outside and it is perfect for snuggling up with my notebook and my research and seeing what I could teach people about mountain bluebirds based on my research. I've got my writing process tracker here. Remember that I already finished my pre-writing because I did a lot of research already. And I had said that my next steps would be to make a table of contents. Well, I did that yesterday, and now I'm really ready for the next step, which is to look at that table of contents and think about how I'm going to write my first chapter. So, my very first chapter was called, here's this table of contents. It says, Chapter 1, Where Do They Live? See that? It said, Where do they live? So I really took a cue from this author, who is a professional writer of information books. And I noticed that they had their table of contents, and it listed what the 3 chapters would be about. And then once I flip open the book, the chapter titles match up with what they said in the table of contents. So chapter 1 is called Meet the Birds. Well, that's what it said here. Chapter 1 was going to be about Meet the Birds. This is the chapter I'm interested in today. Chapter 2, Bird Skills. I started reading that chapter, and it began on this page, Bird Skills. And I want you to just hear how the author wrote a collection of sentences, a few sentences put together about the same thing. It's called a paragraph. And they wrote all of those sentences about bird skills in this chapter. Birds have excellent eyesight. They use their eyes to spot food. Some eat plants, some eat fruit. Some eat other creatures, including bugs, mice, and snakes. So it talked about all of those things that they mentioned in these sentences were about bird skills. So that's what you're going to be doing today. What you're going to be writing for your first chapter is called a paragraph. And a paragraph, like I just mentioned, is a group of sentences that are all about the same thing. So I'm going to show you some sentences that I have here, and I'm going to read them for you. Your job is to figure out which one of these sentences does not belong in this paragraph, okay? So this is my first chapter, planning. And on this page where it says title, I would have written the title of my chapter, which is Where Do They Live? My very first sentence is called my topic sentence. It has space for fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, and fact 4. I only did 3 facts for this one. But remember, your job as I read this, say which one does not belong in this paragraph or in this chapter at all. Okay. Bluebirds need a special habitat. Bluebirds live in meadows. They live in meadows because they need space. They are bright blue. Bluebirds live in the mountains in the summer. So we're remembering the name of this chapter and the purpose of this paragraph is to answer the question, where do they live? One of those sentences did not answer the question, where do they live? So let's say, bluebirds need a special habitat. Thumbs up. That tells about where they live. Bluebirds live in meadows. Well, it uses the word live. They live in meadows. So that answers the question, where do they live? So it belongs in this paragraph. They live in meadows because they need space. Does that give information about where and why they live where they do? It does. They are bright blue. That is not about where they live. That's about bird bodies. My next chapter is called Bluebird Bodies. That's when I'm going to write a paragraph with sentences that describe what the bird structures are and what it looks like. So that's not about where they live. It's not about their habitat. It's not about where in the world they live. So it does not belong in this chapter or on this page at all. See about my last sentence here, my last fact sentence. Bluebirds live in the mountains in the summer. Yeah, that one certainly is about where they live. When I write it, I'm even going to add some information about how they migrate from the mountains in the summer. But that is how I did my planning. That is what this page will look like for you. This is your writing planning page, okay? It's not your final book. It's not, you haven't yet done all of these things. So when you do this page today, this is part of your writing, okay? Then you're going to do another page tomorrow for chapter 2. You'll do another page the next day to write your chapter 3. When we're done writing all the pages, then we'll revise it and see if it made sense. Then we'll edit the whole book and see if we have any spelling or period mistakes. And then very last, we'll publish it. But I'm going to give you a little look at what mine looks like when I have published this page, just so you can see. First of all, this is my cover. Marvelous Mountain Bluebirds. On one of the days, we're going to learn to do scientific drawing. I'm hoping to get an expert to come in and do that with us. Table of contents has my chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I haven't written it all yet, but I did publish my page, Where Do They Live? Okay. Mountain bluebirds mostly live in meadows. They need lots of space. They live in the mountains in the summer, but migrate to lower places in the winter. I added that part when I did my revising because I realized I needed to say a little more and that I knew more. I did a bold word. I did a map with a caption. Canada, USA, Mexico. This is North America. This map shows their range. That is where they live in the world. These are some of the things I added as I did my revising that you'll get to later. Today, you're focusing on this page that is your planning page for your first chapter. All right, so it doesn't have to be perfect today. This is just your ideas and sharing all of the information that you learned and deciding what are you going to write for your first chapter. Okay, your first chapter really only has to be about 3 up to 5 sentences. It's not the whole book. Okay, so you don't have to try to get everything you know into the first chapter because there'll be time for sharing all of it. All right, love you guys and happy writing.